Okay, this video is about the fetal pig circulatory system. We're going to be looking today at the thoracic cavity, which contains, these are the ribs, the heart, the lungs. This was the abdominal cavity below the thoracic cavity. The division here is this diaphragm, this membrane, this very thick membrane that divides these two cavities here. So let's look at a little closer here. And this is the heart. These are the lungs. The lungs have these little flaps here. So this would be the right lung, and these would be the left lungs, all collectively together. This would be the right side of the heart, and this would be the left side of the heart. The top, these are the atrium. So this is the right atrium, the left atrium, the right ventricle, the left ventricle. Running through here diagonally, this is the coronary artery and the coronary vein that supply the heart itself, which is a muscle, with oxygenated blood, and remove the oxygenated blood from the heart itself. So this is the coronary artery, and it has its own blood supply. So blood enters the heart through these two structures here. This is the superior vena cava, and this is the inferior vena cava. These are two very big veins that carry blood from the head and the peripheral of the organism to the heart through the right atrium. The blood would then go through the right atrium, into the right ventricle, and out through the pulmonary artery, which is right here, the structure, to the lungs, back into the heart, the left side of the heart. Remember, the left side of the heart has oxygenated blood. So the blood goes from the pulmonary artery to the lungs, get oxygenated, come back through pulmonary veins to the left atrium, left ventricle, and from here it would get pumped out through this. Let's see if I can get a probe in here. This structure here, which is the aorta. And the aorta branches, there's several branches that go up anteriorly. These are branches from the aorta. These are big arteries that are supplying blood to the head. And there's another branch of the aorta back here, right there. That's supplying the rest of the body with blood. Now, in the fetus, things are a little bit different because the fetus gets its blood supply from the mother. So the blood that's coming to the fetus from the mother is oxygenated and is full of nutrients. The lungs actually don't work in the fetus until it's born. Before that, the blood comes in through the structure here called the umbilical vein. Oxygenated blood enters the fetus through the umbilical vein. It would be connected here, and exits the fetus through these two structures here called umbilical arteries on either side. Comes in through the umbilical vein. It actually bypasses the liver because it's already cleansed. It bypasses the liver and joins in through the inferior vena cava and enters the right atrium together with this deoxygenated blood that's coming in from the fetus itself. They both enter into the right atrium. So the blood that's entering the heart of the fetus is a mixed blood of oxygen and deoxygenated blood. So it's sort of semi-oxygenated blood. Comes into the right atrium. Now it doesn't really need to go into the right ventricle because it's the ventricle's function to pump blood out into the lungs, so it doesn't need to go to the lungs. There's a little shunt here that shunts the blood directly from the right atrium to the right ventricle. This is called the foramen ovale. There's a little tunnel here so that the blood flows from the right atrium into the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, then, from the right atrium to the left ventricle. From the one more time, goes from the right atrium to the left atrium. From the left atrium to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, it's then pumped out through the aortic arch here, where it goes through the arteries either to the head or to the peripheral of the body. Some blood, however, does go from the right atrium to the right ventricle through the pulmonary artery, and that blood is also shunted. It doesn't go to the lungs, it's shunted. It goes directly back into the aorta, And the shunt here is called the ductus arteriosus that redirects blood from the pulmonary artery straight into the aorta. Okay. If we look up here, this is the larynx and this is the trachea. So the air comes in through the mouth and through the trachea, and the trachea comes all the way down to where the lungs are, and it separates into two branches, bronchi that goes either to the right or the left heart. And that's it for this.